Great day, second grade families and everyone else out there that is watching. It's Mr. Sargent here with another weekly video detailing what we're going to be doing the week of January 9th through January 14th. Now, we do have a lot going on this week here at GPA. So we're going to start off with what we have here at school and what's going on, and then I'm going to tell you the focus of what we're going to be doing. All right. So the first thing that we have next week, well, it's a special occasion on January 12th. Starting at 4 o'clock here at Guilford Preparatory Academy, we have our homecoming basketball game. Both the boys and the girls teams are incredible this year, and they're so much fun to watch. So I definitely encourage all of you, whether you're here at GPA now or you used to go to GPA, to come out and celebrate our boys and girls basketball teams, as well as celebrating homecoming for Guilford Preparatory Academy. Now, the big thing that we're going to be doing next week is also the same reason why in second grade, we won't have any homework next week. So the focus of today's video is going to be what we have big to do here at GPA this week, and that is the iReady Mid-Diagnostic. This is the second diagnostic through iReady that we will be taking this year. Now, we've already took one in September, and ladies and gentlemen, you worked very hard. Some of you may or may not even known what iReady was at the time, but now we should be familiar, because one thing we've been doing all year is practicing. So, starting on Tuesday, January 10th, we're going to be starting our mid-year iReady diagnostic test. Now, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to split it up and we're going to be doing reading on those days. So we're not going to be doing the whole test on one day. We're going to split up the time, and this way you're not just sitting there for hours and hours and hours taking tests, because we know how boring that is. But what we are going to do is, well, we're going to work on both of those days, Tuesday and Wednesday, to do the best that we can with our reading. Now, on Thursday and Friday, we're going to do the same thing, but with math. So we're going to take our time, we're going to split up the time so you have plenty of time and that you don't run out of, there it is, time to take these tests. All right? So the question I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is how can you prepare for this test? Now, first, let's talk about why we're doing it. Well, you already know a lot of my quotes. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Practice makes better. If you know anything about me, you know I live by certain quotes out there. Now, when it comes to iReady, practice makes better. And the more we practice iReady, the better we're going to get at reading and math. But the more we practice our test-taking skills, the better we're going to get at taking tests. Now, for grades 3 through 8, you know we have tests coming up in about 5 months, maybe even less, called the EOGs. The more we practice and know where we are and get data from our testing, the better we can work on our plan. Well, there goes back to my quote, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So the first thing I want you to think about is, what is your goal? What success do you want? I think we can all say that we want to be very successful, don't we? Yeah. But success isn't given, it's worked for. So back to my quote, a goal without a plan is just a wish. We have our goal, and that's to be successful. Now, we have to figure out our plan. Now, one thing that you're going to notice is when we take this second diagnostic, we're going to be looking for that green arrow. No, not that green arrow. We're going to be looking for the green arrow on iReady. Now, it may be blue, it may be green, doesn't matter. It's an arrow, and it should be pointing up, so we can see how much we have improved over the past few months of our practice. That should be a goal that everybody shares and everybody has. If we put the work in, ladies and gentlemen, we should see that arrow. We should see the number of points that we went up, and we should see our success. Now, another thing about this iReady diagnostic is going to be, it also shows what we need to work on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 months to get better. So When we take these tests next week, when we take these diagnostics next week, I want us to take it serious. I want us to do our best in everything we do, but I want us to take these tests serious because this will show us, especially me as a teacher, how I can help you the best. And it could show you what you can work on more. So ladies and gentlemen, get excited about the diagnostic because I know I am. I cannot wait to see all of the great work each and every one of you do because I know how hard each one of you has worked throughout this year. The diagnostic is a great way to show just how much you've improved and how much more you can improve. So the question I have again is, well, how do we prepare for the test? How do we take the test? What are some strategies and what are some good ways that we can have the most success? Because ladies and gentlemen, if you're anything like me, sometimes you get stressed out when you take a test. Sometimes you get scared, sometimes you get nervous. I know I did. If you've been in my classes before, you know I have something called test anxiety, which means I may do great in class, but when it comes down to the test, I tend to freeze up and I don't trust myself and I don't have the confidence that I should. Well, today we're going to talk about ways that we can stop that and we can prevent that. So before we get into those, let's talk about what to do the night before the test. Well, that's pretty easy. You get a good meal and you get a good night's rest. Parents out there, we're going to make sure that we're getting to bed early. We're getting a good night's rest and that when we wake up in the morning, we are alert, we are awake, and we are ready for success. We also need to make sure we're here on time. The tests will begin when school begins, first thing in the morning, and we can't walk into the classrooms late. So we want to make sure that we are in the room when the tests start. And since this is going to be an iReady diagnostic, another thing that you should bring, well, headphones. We are in desperate need of our students having headphones and being ready and prepared to take these tests. Now, we do have a few around here somewhere, but for the most part, students should be bringing in their own headphones. Sometimes we feel more comfortable with our own things. And the big thing about taking this test is feeling comfortable while taking it. So, let's go over our list. Go to bed early. Actually, get a good night. Get a good meal. Go to bed early, get a good night's sleep. Wake up alert, refreshed, and ready, and on time. Ladies and gentlemen, you do those, that's the first step to success. When we mentally prepare, that's part of our plan, ladies and gentlemen. It's being here and being ready. So what about when we're taking the test? What can we do? I know, what can we do? Well, the biggest thing you can do is you can relax. Now, I'm not saying you lounge back, you take a nap, or you just chill. No. Relax is a strategy that really worked for me, especially with my reading. All right? Now, if you look right here we have relax. You can see it, relax, right there. Okay? Each one of these letters stands for something else. So let's go over this real quick. We got the R. The R stands for read the questions carefully. Notice how I didn't say read the story carefully? You should do that anyways, but read the questions carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't answer a question if we don't know what it's asking. So reread the questions carefully. Then you can go back into the story and reread the story if you'd like to find your answers and prove that you are picking the right one. Ladies and gentlemen, when I'm taking a test, I make sure that I'm right by going back into the story and checking it. I want to make sure that I am putting down what the story tells me to put down. All right? So that R stands for read. The E, examine. Now, that's a tough word, but it says examine every answer choice before you choose the answer. Now, if you're anything like me, you've taken a test before where you're looking through your answers and that first answer, that letter A, looks great. It looks like a great answer for the question. So I will go ahead and pick A, and then my teacher tells me, oh, it was wrong. Oh, what didn't I do? Well, I didn't go through and read every answer choice. If you read every answer choice, you may find an answer that's even better than that first one. So if you go through all 4 or however many answer choices that they give you, you can determine which one is the right one, which one's the good one, and the 2 wrong answers. Because there's always going to be at least 2 wrong answers. But sometimes you're going to have to choose between 2 that are pretty close. But by examining these answer choices, you can make a better decision. All right, so we're back to relax. The L stands for, well, label and look. Now you may be wondering, okay, what does it mean to label something? Well, if we're doing a math problem, we want to label our answers. Okay, we want to make sure that we are writing our work out, that we are not just guessing, but we are working out, labeling the different parts of the answer and part of the question. All right, now the look part could be both for reading and for math, because this is when you look for proof. If you remember what I just said about the R, where we have to read and then reread, when we go to the L and relax and we look for proof, we prove that we are right. Every story will have proof in it. Now, if you can't find proof for your answer, then chances are your answer may not be right. But maybe one of the answer choices does have proof back in the story. So that's going to take you going back to R and rereading, and then going back and looking at your answer choices to see if there's a better answer. Listen, with a little bit of looking and a little bit of labeling, ladies and gentlemen, you're guaranteed a little bit more success. It's always good to find proof that we're right, and it takes looking and labeling. Then we get the A. The A is always, 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 always check our work, especially in math. All right? When we check our work in math and when we check our work in reading for these tests, we need to make sure that we did everything right, that we take a look at the steps that we took to get our answer and make sure that we followed the directions. Now, sometimes this takes going back to the question and understanding what the question's asking us to do. Well, once we understand the question, we should be able to prove our work. So we're going back to the L there for proof. And then we got to check it, okay? You would also want to check that you make sure you answer every question. By checking our work, we can have a little bit more confidence in how we're taking the test and the answers that we choose. And then finally, we have the X. X marks the spot. In this case, X out. This time we're Xing out our wrong answers. And I'm going to tell you a secret, ladies and gentlemen, do not tell anybody. Those that make the test always put in 2 absolutely wrong answers. You look at it and be like, how on earth did they come up with that answer? Yeah, I know. I'm shocked as well. Now, what we can do is we can cross out or X out those answer choices. Now, I do believe iReady has a tool where you can mark on the test digitally, where you can cross out these answers. I encourage you, if there are wrong answers there and you know they're wrong, you can prove that they're wrong, then X them out. I don't know about you, it's a lot easier for me to choose between 2 answers than it is for 4. So if there's a question that I'm not sure of, but I know 2 answers are wrong, and I know 2 answers are right, I know I'm going to cross out those wrong answers, so I'm only looking at those 2 right answers, and I can sort of choose between them. So ladies and gentlemen, using Relax, we can do so much. Now, this may not work for you. This may work for you. You may have your own method of doing this, and that's great if it's successful. If we're not seeing any growth and if we're not feeling comfortable taking these tests, then ladies and gentlemen, it may be time for a change. It may be time to start listening to our teachers and listening to some of the strategies that they give us to have success. Listen, myself, as well as every teacher here, wants to have the most successful class out there. By doing that, but in order to have that happen, well, like I said, That may be our goal, but without a plan, it's just a wish. So ladies and gentlemen, I encourage all of you, when you're taking these tests, when you're preparing for these tests, when you're preparing for any test, relax. Come in confident knowing that you're prepared if you put the work in. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait to see the green arrows or the blue arrows or whatever color arrows there are to show just how much each and every one of you grew this year so far in reading and math. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I am super proud of each and every one of you. Like I said, next week, come in ready, come in confident, and come in prepared. So until then, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you then.